Hey, what's poppin', Tech family? Urban Tech Reviews, and hopefully by the end of this review, I'll give you enough information to decide if upgrading from the OG Nintendo Switch console to the Nintendo Switch OLED console is worth your money. And if you don't have a Switch at all, should you spend the extra money to get the OLED version? Stay tuned. Before we get into this review, hit that subscribe button to see other content that I post. And make sure to hit that like button if you like this content, and hit the bell notification so you can be notified whenever I upload new content. But let's get into this review. Most people are watching like, what the hell does OLED even mean? OLED stands for Organic Light Emitting Diode, and it's one of the newer technologies available for TVs and other digital displays. OLED technology basically uses millions of pixels that emit their own light rather than relying on a separate backlight. Now that we got all the technical stuff out of the way, it's time to talk about this new console. So what all comes with your Nintendo Switch OLED console? You get your Switch, you get your controller connector, so you put your Joy-Cons in there. You get the other ends for your Joy-Cons if you want to play them off of the console. You get an HDMI cable, and you get your Switch dock. You also get your power adapter, which is USB Type-C. One quick note is if you want to use a different charger, your console might not work if you have it docked, or it might not work just to charge it with just a regular USB Type-C. You'll get a notification saying that you need to use the USB Type-C cable that it came with. So just a little food for thought that if you think, oh yeah, I got a whole bunch of USB Type-C cables, I can use those. It actually lets you know that they want you and recommend you to use the cable that it came with. Now, of course, we got to talk about price. So the ticket on the OLED Nintendo Switch is going to run you about $350. Oh, Lord! Now, this one is the Pokemon version. You see, we got the Pokemon in there. And the ticket on this one was about $360. Oh, Lord! So for about $10 extra, you can get a console that's graphic specific to whatever theme that they have it to, rather than just getting a plain old Switch. But of course, that's your choice, so you do what you want to do. So I'm gonna give you a tour of the Nintendo Switch OLED. Okay, so these are your Joy-Cons. Right here, this is the purple one, and this is the orange one. And they simply slide off with this button right here. There's a button on both sides, and they slide off by pressing the button and pulling up. It just slide off your Joy-Con, and that works for both sides. You press on the button, pull up, slides off your Joy-Con. Okay, and here's your right R1 or your right button, and then this is your back button. It's where you put your game at. I don't really have a fingernail. It's kind of hard to get to that, to open that up, but your game goes in here. This is a 3.5mm headphone jack. This is a speaker grill, speaker in there, volume up and down button right here, power button on that side. This right here is your minus button. This is your plus button. They do different things depending on where you are on your Nintendo Switch console. You got your 4 buttons, X, Y, B, and A. You got your right stick, your home button, left stick, and then these are your up, down, left, right on here. And this is your capture button. So you press your capture button, you can take a screenshot, holding your capture button, and you can take a video screenshot. It's just like a 30-second clip that you can take with that. The bottom of your console, this is where your USB Type C goes into. This is your kickstand on the bottom, so you just pick that up. The kickstand flips up like that. It actually goes all the way up there to give you a kind of weird viewing angle, but you know, it's a viewing angle nonetheless. Your SD card, micro SD, goes in there, so you can slide that in there up to 2 terabytes of memory or storage that you can use in there. Expandable storage. The button takes you in there, so you can go, you know, all these directions. You got, you know, different stuff on there, same as your regular Nintendo Switch console. So you got all these different things on here. But let me show you the dock, and then I'll show you the other things that came with it. So this is your dock right here, and this is the Pokemon. I forget what the actual name of this is. I'm not into Pokemon, but your one side you got nothing. Your switch sits in here. The other side switch comes out that way too, but you got two USB ports, so you can stick you know, a USB drive or something in there for that, or a charger. This is the back of your dock. This is one thing that's different from the OG, is you don't have this little, you know, thing. It don't pop off like this. So this is remove your AC adapter. Adapter goes in here to keep you charged up, keep your switch charged. HDMI out, so if you want to play it on the TV when it's docked, you plug it in there, and another end into your TV. This is your LAN cable. This is new also on the Switch OLEDs. They didn't come with the LAN cable right there, I believe. So you just stick your switch in there, drop it down like that. It was sitting there docked, and this is what it look like. Now of course you wouldn't keep your Joy-Cons on there, because you would need your Joy-Cons to use this, and this is like the little controller that you can use, and to me it's better than you know, nothing, or using just the Joy-Cons with these or something. It's better than nothing. This still isn't that ergonomic to me. It really feels weird, not really good for the hands, I feel. So I mean, it's better than nothing, but there is aftermarket Nintendo Switch controllers that kind of look more like Xbox controllers, which would be a little bit better and feel a lot better than using this. It's just small too. I think that's a big problem, is that it's just too small. But nonetheless, it is something to use if you need to use it. There's LEDs on here to tell you the battery life on your Joy-Cons, because your Joy-Cons do need to stay charged in order to play this. And they slide in here the same way that they slide in and out of your console. So you just slide it in there, slides in there, clicks, and then pull the other one out, slide that out, click it in there, and now it's gonna tell you how much juice that you got left in there, and then you'll be able to use these, you know, when you go play your Switch console. The new 7-inch OLED screen is a big selling point, probably the biggest selling point. The OG Switch only having a 6.2-inch LCD means that it's more real estate to game on when in handheld or tabletop mode. The wide bezel still plagues the Switch console, so don't think because you're getting a bigger screen you'll be getting rid of those black bars on your Switch console. The Switch OLED has 64 gigabytes of internal storage, which doubles the amount that you get with the OG Nintendo Switch. You do have the option to use a micro SD card to expand your storage. You can expand your storage up to 2 terabytes, which should be enough storage to have all of your favorite games on your Nintendo Switch console. The Nintendo Switch has 3 different ways to play the console. Handheld mode with the Switch console and 2 Joy-Cons. This is the most common way that I play my Switch console, and the most convenient way in my opinion. The second way is tabletop mode. Tabletop mode is just using the kickstand to your Switch and setting it on a table, desk, or any other surface to play your console. Tabletop mode is more for gaming on the run in my opinion, but you don't want to have to or don't have access to a TV or monitor to game on. Also, you may get tired of using the Joy-Cons and want to use your Switch controllers independently. The third mode is docked mode. Docked mode is connecting your Switch console to a TV or monitor to play. To be honest, this is my least favorite mode to play. I don't like playing the Switch with the Joy-Con controllers not connected to the console. The Joy-Con joystick is odd shaped and not fun to play with or ergonomic feeling. It just has an odd shape to me and not a comfortable experience. Now, you can buy separate Switch controllers that are more like Xbox One controllers, which will make gaming a much better experience in dock mode. That, of course, isn't free, and you'll have to spend more bread after dropping $350 plus on a new console. And just a little tip in case you were wondering, the Switch OLED works with the OG dock, and the Joy-Cons are interchangeable just in case you wanted to know that. There isn't many physical differences between the consoles. One of the biggest to me is the addition of the LAN port on the rear of the OLED Switch console. To achieve this, Nintendo had to remove one of the USB ports in the rear of the console. And to me, I'm 100% okay with that. So besides that change, the OLED, the screen size, the kickstand, and the double internal storage, there's not really that many differences between the OG Switch and the OLED Switch. So let me give you my final thoughts on the Nintendo Switch OLED. I know I kind of use comparisons a lot, but it's kind of trying to help you or guide you through this process, you know, if you're having a hard time or whatever. But my final thoughts is, if you plan on playing the Nintendo Switch docked most of the time, then you're really not going to get that great of an experience. The resolution of the OG Switch and of the OLED Switch is both 720p. Playing the Switch in handheld or tabletop mode will give you the total experience that where you'll really understand where the extra money went to when you got the OLED. Other than that, I would say that there's just minor changes or upgrades that make the Nintendo Switch OLED make sense, really. So to answer your question, if you have a Nintendo Switch OG, would you, or should you upgrade to get the OLED? And in my opinion, I would say no. There's just not enough for me to justify buying a new Switch just for the OLED. And OLED is something that you only use when you play in handheld mode. It's not going to make a difference when it's in dock mode. So if that's what you're buying it for, just for the OLED, then I would say no. Now, playing devil's advocate, if you don't have the OG Switch or a Switch at all, Switch Lite or anything like that, if you had a Switch Lite, I would say upgrade. I would say upgrade if you had a Switch Lite. All right, but if you don't have a Switch OG, then I would say upgrade. I would say just buy a Switch OLED. If you were looking to get a Switch in general, I would say get the OLED rather than get the OG model, just because you get a bigger screen and you get a better screen. You know, your screen looks better when you're playing it. So I definitely would say grab one of these if you don't have a Switch at all, or if you have a Switch Lite, because I just believe the differences between the Switch Lite and the Switch OLED is way more than the Switch OG and the Switch OLED. So hopefully watching this video gave you just a little bit more information than you might have had before you watched the video. If you felt like this video helped you, don't hesitate to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel so you can watch more of my content. Tons of videos on the channel. Make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe button. And hit the bell notification so you can be notified whenever I drop new content. So again, thanks for watching. It's Urban Tech Reviews. Stay blessed until we meet the next time. We out.